regrette rien. C'est payé, balayé, oublié. Je me fous du passé. Avec mes souvenirs, j'ai allumé le feu. Mes chagrins, mes plaisirs, je n'ai plus besoin de balayer les amours avec leur trémolo, balayer pour toujours. Je repars à zéro. Non, rien de rien. Non, je ne regrette rien. Ni le bien qu'on m'a fait, ni le mal, tout ça m'est bien égal. Non, rien de rien. Non, je ne regrette rien. Car ma vie, car mes joies, aujourd'hui, ça commence avec toi.
I was 5 and he was 6. We rode on horses made of sticks. He wore black and I wore white. He would always win the fight. Bang, bang, he shot me down. Bang, bang, I hit the ground. Bang, bang, that awful sound. Bang, bang, my baby shot me down. Seasons came and changed the time. When I grew up I called him mine. He would always laugh and say, remember when we used to play? Bang, bang, I shot you down. Bang, bang, you hit the ground. Bang, bang, that sound. Bang, bang, I used to shoot you down. Music played and people sang. Just for me the church bells rang. Now he's gone, I don't know why. Until this day sometimes I cry. He didn't even say goodbye. He didn't take the time to lie. Bang, bang, he shot me down. Bang, bang, I hit the ground. Bang, bang, awful sound. Bang, bang, my baby shot me down. this badge off of me. I can't use it anymore. It's getting dark, too dark to see. Feel like I'm knocking on heaven's door. Knock, knock, knocking on heaven's door. Knock, knock. Knock, knock, knocking on heaven's door. Knock, knock, knocking on heaven's door. Mama put my guns in the ground. I can't shoot them anymore. Long black cloud is coming down. I feel like I'm knocking on heaven's door. Knock, knock, knocking on heaven's door. Knock, knock, knocking on heaven's door. Knock, knock, knocking on heaven's door. Yeah, yeah. Knock, knock, knocking on heaven's door. Yeah, yeah.
Hello, I'm Sandra, and I'd like to welcome you to Snowglobe Theater's first ever online production. If you're away from your device, come on back and join us as we're just about to start the show. Welcome, we're glad you could make it. Just a few short announcements before we start. First, please make sure to turn off your cell phones and devices because, no, just joking. You're at home and you may be watching us on your device anyhow. Keep everything on. Also, please note that the fire exits and washrooms are wherever you left them last. Joking aside, please be advised that this show does contain adult language and subject matter, depictions of sexual violence, and strong themes of isolation. The show will last around an hour with no intermission and will be followed by a live talkback and Q&A session, so stay tuned for that. If you're watching on Facebook, I invite you to make use of the chat. If you're watching on Zoom, I'd like to draw your attention to the Q&A button at the bottom of the screen. Please feel free to post questions or comments that we'll address during our post-show talkback. If you do enjoy tonight's performance and would like to support ongoing efforts towards live theater during the pandemic, please do go visit our GoFundMe page and donate. We've posted the link on our Facebook page and sent it in our email newsletter. Funds will go not only towards expenses of this production, but also our eventual main stage production of this show, as well as other online content we will try to provide this summer and fall. Remember, this is a first for all of us, and we are going to be seeing a live performance on webcam from the performer's home, so this is a bit of a landmark event. I hope you all enjoy the show, and now I give you The Fairies Are Thirsty.
I am the desert, grain after grain after grain. I recite myself bead after bead.
I feel like a rain that cannot fall. Could I shed my skin? Could I find myself elsewhere?
I'm marking time going nowhere. Life makes me curdle.
I lick the drip of your denegation.
I am the ink of the object of your sociological inquiries.
I'm quite the naughty subject.
What's that so heavy on my shoulders?
I'm fed up with taking Valium.
What the hell do you do but a day-old hangover?
Who am I? Who shall I be as if I'd never been?
On the stove, the coffee gurgles like my gut.
Do you hear? The music of the old leaky saucepans.
The veils of the temple slap like old wet flags. The air is thick tonight.
My name is Marie. They glorify my maternity. But what about me? Me they can't abide.
I'm the whore with the heart of gold, so they say. Men say. Who's gonna let me love him? Who's gonna give himself to me?
I am the desert, grain after grain after grain. I recite myself day after day.
You think I'll take a Valium?
Fed up with boozing!
Always the same thing. It never changes. And I thought I'd do better than my mother.
Who, me?
I'm not much further along than she was.
What do you expect to change? Us, maybe?
And we saw the victim beginning to change.
Once upon a time there was a day, and that's today. And I am about to unsing the whole Angelus.
My house is clean, clean, clean. My name is Marie. I do my errands. You've met me in the shopping centers.
I chuck sperm out the window. Sorry, your 3 minutes are up. With my blood of the full moon, each of your children drops away, poor fatherland.
As I said in Fatima, poor Canada.
Sorry, your 3 minutes are up.
In the shopping centers, they sell cute bathing suits, skimpy bikinis. I could never stand to be alone beside the sea. I'm far too scared. The waves roll over me, they want to talk to me. I could never stand to be alone beside the sea. I'm far too scared. The waves could take me in their folds and carry me where I don't want to go. I am the woman of the house.
Whose house?
I listen to my transistor. In winter, I go to Florida with my husband. He plays golf.
Someday my prince will come.
At the reform school, they told me, Madeline, Madeline, make a woman out of yourself. I never knew what that meant. I am the menstrual floodgate of the breaking ice. Dried coffee at the bottom of a cup that no one ever washed. I am a hole. I'm a big hole where they shove their money. I'm a big hole in a closed hoop that shrinks round my skull. But I can see through that hole. There are days when I'd like to believe in love. Before they turned me loose into the world from the reform school, they decided to have me treated. The psychiatrist, he wanted to fuck me. Pretty funny for a voyeur. So I told him, I said, for you shithead, it's gonna cost you $1,000 per shot. He found I was a serious case, incurable, he said. Then he wouldn't see me anymore. That's when I came a lady of pleasure.
Whose pleasure?
There are days when something in me tries to believe in love.
Someday my prince will come.
When I was 12, what did I want? Adolescence is a sickness. Better not remember it. The fewer desires I had, the sooner I grow up. Don't worry. Now I think I have no desire at all, except those you give me. The only discoveries I'm interested in are the new soaps that get your clothes whiter than white. Dish soap that keeps your hands ever so smooth as if you never touched those dishes. What more could I ask from life? And as far as husbands go, there are worse ones than mine. But what good are husbands anyway?
You know, I'm not a gal that goes around collecting souvenirs, boxes full of photos and love letters tied with little pink ribbons. Not that I've had that many, but just a few. Just the same, yours forever if you want me. 2 things I did keep. My first rag doll, called like me, Mad. My pretty little Madeline. And I kept the first pair of sheets I got paid for sleeping between. One day, I debaptized my doll and I locked her in a box, and in the other box, I put away the pair of sheets full of chiz. I kept him so I can give him back to that guy. I figure one day I'm gonna see him again. I'll give him back. I mean, he paid for him. They belong to him, those fucking sheets. I'll give him back to him just to see his face.
As for me, I am an image. I am a portrait. 2 feet stuck in plaster. I am the queen of nothingness. I'm the door to the abyss. I am the priest's wet dreams. I am the white sheep, the white ewe shorn. I am the star of the bitter sea. I am the dream of ammonia. I'm the daughter of Mr. Clean. I am the mirror of injustice. I am the seat of slavery. I am the sacred vessel never lost and still unfound. I am the eye of the white tornado. I am the darkness of ignorance. I am the refuge of imbeciles, the succor of the ineffectual. I am the rotting symbol of rotten abnegation. I am the silence heavier and more oppressive than any words. I am the yoke of those chillest of the flesh. I am the image imagined. I am she who has no body. I am she who never bleeds.
Il a juste effleuré ma bouche, comme fait le vent qui ment.
They gave me a bird as my groom. Century after century, they stole away my son and gave him a bachelor father, jealous and eternal. They carved me in marble and had me bear down with my weight on the serpent. I'm the ultimate alibi of failed desire. They gave me a bird as my groom. They carved me in marble and had me bear down with my weight on the serpent. No one ever breaks my image. Century after century, they recreate me. Will someone deface me? Have I no daughter anywhere to liberate me, to diverginate me?
You women can't talk, but I just heard something.
In the name of the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Priest. The earth rots up inside my statue. In the trees, among the nests, I see myself seeing myself having been Eve. I see myself seeing him having been Adam. I see myself seeing what never existed. I see myself seeing his Adam's apple bob up and down faster as he hears what I have to say.
In my throat, I have a song. In my throat as well, a cat that eats my song. In my head, I have an idea. And in my head as well, an order that eats my idea.
To speak, I must come down from my tree.
Christ, you alone? You two? I want to have a drink together. Come on, have a little beer with me.
Thanks, but I can't. You can't mix beer and Valium.
Well, I'll have a little drink alone then. I'm used to it. Fuck, I'm used to it. I won't take any customers today. Well, I mean, why shouldn't I tell you? You know what I do. But today I'm tired. You know, like I got the blues. I get a spell like this once or twice a year. Maybe it's the curse. You know, when I'm indisposed, that's the way it is.
On those special days, ladies, feel free thanks to Tantax. Ride horseback, play tennis, go for a swim. Tantax is discreet. Tantax protects. Tantax doesn't hinder your movement. On those special days, ladies, be up to date. Use Tantax. Be Tantax.
Don't know if you're like me on those days, but there's no way they're gonna tell me they're Tampax or some kind of vitamin. No, on those days, I'm like swollen up, constipated, depressed. On those days, all I wanna do is lock myself up in my room and pull down the blinds. You?
Yeah, me too. I always know it's coming. I feel heavy and then I get a great fat pimple on my face, right here. Those days I don't go out.
Well, I don't ever see you go out much. Looks to me like you're always home.
I go out at the odd time, just to go shopping. That's all there is to it. I go out when I catch myself talking to nobody, talking to myself. Yesterday morning, here I was, talking to my toaster.
Dear toaster, if I'm talking to you this morning, it's because I just
I'm always in a good mood.
Well, yeah, I'm pretty good-natured.
You know, I've noticed something. You're always well-dressed. I've noticed. And you have all kinds of nice leather things, like boots.
Yeah, I got a bunch of boots. All colors, especially high boots. You noticed? Yeah, they're sexier than shoes. Sexier, I don't know why. But I'll drink to that. You look kind of delicate to me.
Oh. My health is okay. I guess I'm bored and that makes me look sick. Seems I get more and more bored all the time. When the housework's done, TV I enjoy less and less. Even the love stories. Whose hand is this? Whose hair? Whose flesh?
They said the flesh was a sin against the spirit. And they locked me up in the very heart of Apple's flesh.
Between the fridge and the stove, between the stove and the fridge, I wait and I take my pill. I take my pill between the fridge and the stove and I wait for you. Between the fridge and the stove, between the stove and the fridge, I wait for you and I take my pill. The walls close in on me and I take my pill. It's strange. I've had 2 kids, and it's as if my skin has never been traversed. Do I have to turn inside myself for ecstasy?
My poor love, perhaps you've had your orgasm. Perhaps you've just forgotten. They put me inside your bodies with all their holy images and medals, blackmails and threats, promises, commercials. The psychiatric hospitals, there are women who think they are me. I have to get out of this thing.
I made love in such a place at such a time with Don Juan. I made love in such a place at such a time with Casanova. I made love in such a place at such a time with the $6 million man. I made love in such a place at such a time with the Phantom. I made love in such a place at such a time with Mr. Trudeau. I made love in such a place at such a time with Tarzan. Blue moon, you saw me standing alone, without a tear in my heart, without a love in my heart. Blue moon, you want me standing alone, without a tear in my heart, without a dawn in my heart. You know, I understand Marilyn Monroe. I'm just like her, looking for beauty, search of all the qualities of seduction. I'd like to be beautiful. I want to be desirable, and at the same time, I should be unattainable. I'd like them to see me as transparent, virginal, so virginal, like a nun with her pale face and small soft hands. The convent, safe from the world and its filth. In my body, I have tried all absences. I would like to be thin and fleshless. I would like to be a scaffolding of bones, devoid of flesh. I would like to have the least possible body. I have never been thin enough, or fragile, or translucent. Always had too much body, and I like cheesecake.
And I eat apples. I eat apples. I eat apples.
Always had too much body for their sexes and their hands that grasp and want and never stop. I have introjected. Yes, I have introjected their desires without ever making them come true. I have been called a whore, a hooker, in pit, a call girl, a cunt. I have sunk into their follies, never found my own. I have been waiting for myself for so long.
Waiting.
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 Talking to nobody.
Waiting for nothing.
Loving no one.
Talking.
Singing.
Dancing.
Love.
Joy.
Liberty.
Being bored.
Crying.
Because.
Who am I?
Who am I? Everybody says you're fucking crazy.
He says I'm a saint. No, I ain't. For sure I ain't no saint. For sure I ain't crazy.
I ain't crazy. For sure I ain't crazy. I ain't crazy. For sure. I ain't crazy. I ain't crazy.
But I am afraid.
Afraid.
Afraid of being crazy.
Afraid of being alone.
Afraid of being ugly.
Afraid of getting fat.
Afraid to know too much.
Afraid to touch myself.
Afraid of being a slut.
Afraid to cry.
Afraid to enjoy it.
Afraid of being laughed at.
Afraid to laugh too much.
Fear.
Afraid of being frigid. Afraid to not enjoy it. Afraid of him.
Afraid to enjoy it.
Afraid of my spear.
Dread.
Fright.
Horror.
Let's talk. Talk, more words, hymns, songs, dances, laughter, tears. Let's hammer at the walls of silence.
Open the shutters of our words, evil by evil, guilt by guilt, fear by fear.
Fear, terror, dread, horror, panic.
That panic, it swells. It slides into the marrow of her bones.
Stop driving me crazy!
Good God, Marie, what's the matter?
He beat me up. Came home drunk this morning. Wanted his breakfast right away.
Rosepes.
The toast is burning.
Idiot.
Can't you look what you're doing?
I waited up for you the whole night.
You know what you cost me just in burnt bread in a year?
I didn't sleep a wink.
You should take a look at yourself.
Marcel, I waited up all night. I didn't sleep a wink. I was so worried, and you didn't come. I was waiting for you.
She waited up for me. You're a glutton for punishment waiting up like that.
Maybe you're just like your mom.
Why don't you just bugger off?
Enough of you.
Kiss the foot.
Marcel.
Haven't even got a clean shirt.
And where the hell are my socks?
Marcel.
You went and shaved your goddamn armpits with my razor again, you crazy bitch.
Marcel.
Is my breakfast nearly ready yet?
You bitch, now you're up.
With some tomato juice.
Yes. Okay, Marcel.
Put the ball in and get a move on.
No, I worked on that contract with those idiots all night long. And what thanks do I get from you?
Marcel, don't talk so loud. Don't shout names at me. That hurts, you know.
You know, I'm tired of an old twat like you. I could have two like you, just like that.
Not like you either.
Young chicks, 18, who like to screw.
Like to screw.
You're a goddamn masochist!
And I told him again. Marcel, I love you.
Women have always loved the most disgusting bastards.
The man, the husband, the brute. Where does love come in?
Love? It's their scam. They're all pimps.
But what's in his head?
His head? Nothing at all. His head is just a garage where he parks his precious phallus.
I am the immaculate of their conceptions. I am the inarticulate of their obsessions. Men are afraid of the flower that blooms between their legs. That's why he beats you. That's why he invented me. When men were frightened of the void, they invented God.
What am I doing? Staying in this place? Am I gonna wait till he kills me? Maybe I don't know how to get around him. Maybe I never understood him. It must be my fault if I provoke him so much. I should try a little harder. Maybe he wants more children.
I think that would bring us back together. Oh. I feel as if I'm a box of cornflakes. Maybe if Mummy's little baby opened up the cornflakes box, he'd find a nice little toy or Wayne Gretzky's picture in there. Mummy's pretty little baby. And he's got a nice mummy. She's the most beautiful mummy in the world. And Mummy's little baby's beautiful too. Tell Mummy, is Mummy's little baby a pretty little Jesus? Kitsy, 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 kitsy. T'es un beau petit garçon. When he grows up, is he gonna be Mummy's friend? When he grows up, is the little boy gonna be strong like his mummy? Or Tarzan? And now the little boy's going back to sleep, going bye-bye. I feel like a bread dough that doesn't want to rise. And yet it's spring. But I've got no spring left in me. The glories of motherhood don't keep me in the peak of forms, that's for sure. Maybe I'm not normal. Is it always going to be like this? Once upon a time, there was a little boy who was very, very strong. He was playing outside. The strong wind tried to throw him down, but the little boy was stronger and faster and more powerful than the wind. He fought with the wind for a long time, and then he started running. Fast, fast, fast! He ran in the house and slammed the door before the wind could get to him. And then the strong little boy ran into his mother's arms to tell her how strong he was. I feel like an idiot. Useless. Ça me tente pas de rien. That baby, even when he's asleep, he takes all the life out of me. Maman, comment t'as fait?
Once upon a time, there was a pizza dough as light as a little girl. And it was whirled at arm's end by an Italian gentleman who knew how to make it flip and twirl. The dough, like the little girl, was twirled faster and faster and faster and faster, and finally took flight until the little girl was safe and sound high in the sky. Oh, how I'd like to rock myself as you rock a small child and smell that fresh body in my arms. A little girl, 2 little girls, and a little boy too. 3 children. I wanted 3 children. Oh, how I'd like to rock myself as you rock a small child. Little voices, little babies, little cribs, little hands, little babies saying, "Mommy, Mommy, look, the little boats, they're sailing on the sea." Oh, how I'd like to rock myself as you rock a small child. La, 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 la. And you, all the little babies I've never had, I'll rock you too. And when my cat has kittens besides my bed in her box, I get this feeling like all the stars begin to liquefy. Double scotch, please. This star fairy's got herself a thirst.
All of my children were subtracted from me. All of my children torn away.
Dear Freud, I'm not in search of my father. I know him well. I'm searching for my mother. The one like me. The one who's just like me. My mother, my stranger. Who parted us, dear mother? You from me? You from you?
You, me,
You?
me.
You divided in yourself? And me? In myself?
Me, you.
Mama, you taught me to be clean and feminine and distinguished and pure to the point of neutrality.
I did.
I got trapped in your stories. I know how much you cried. You cried and your tears taught you nothing. For the sake of virtue, Mama. What is virtue worth? You said once, we're always somebody's servant. Well, I don't want to be. I love the baby, but all day long alone with him, I can't take it, Mama. I'm bored, Mama. I'm wasting away. You who suffered so much from your submission. Why did you teach me to submit as well? It makes no sense, Mama. Somewhere there's something you didn't tell me. You thought you were the Virgin Mary, the one with all the suffering. You loved the priests. They turned you away from your body, from your man, and from me. They robbed you of your being, Mama. I'm searching for my mother. Mama, tell me what battle we once lost to end up less than doormats. Was that battle ever fought, Mama? You were made for loving, but they turned you into a matron. Comment se parle, Maman, la langue maternelle? They said it was the mother tongue, but it was their language. It was built to communicate only their will and their philosophy.
They were eunuchs of the prophet, eunuchs of the mind and flesh.
They lied to you, Mama. Their language doesn't belong to us. It has no words from what I'm seeking. It hides my identity. My whole body aches for the secret place inside of me, for your secret place that you can never show me. Mama, if I can't find you, how can I ever find myself? I long for the woman who's locked up inside of you. Mama, Mama, Mama. I'd like to sleep once again in your arms. I'd like to be close to you. To find the true voice of our real wombs. Mama, I'd like to peel myself like an orange. I'd like to rip off your policeman's skin. I'd like to strip myself layer by layer until I'm bathing in her soul. Mama! Mama! Come and find me.
Mommy, come and get your little girl.
My poor loves, all those men who wanted to be God or gods have undone my womb, the love that warmed my hands, my arms, my thighs, my eyes, my breasts.
Prison.
Family.
Religion.
Prison.
Our tears do not corrode.
The bars of these are prisons.
The bars of these are prisons.
We are political prisoners.
We the mothers.
The prostitutes.
And the saints.
Like,
We are political prisoners.
like women who have killed their husbands.
It was him or me.
I bent so far I had to break. We are political prisoners.
One day, the March Hare said to Alice, if you don't stop crying, you'll drown in your own tears.
If I followed each of my tears back to its source, where would I be? What's the use? From one flood to the next. I've had enough. I've had enough of these four walls. I'm going to take a close look at this life I lead. Could you look after the kids for a while? I've got something important to do.
Oh, mothers. Mothers! They're not one like another, but they're all the same. Mine had 9 kids. I was the oldest. My dad. You know, when you don't have no schooling and the kids keep coming, that's all you know. And when my mom would get overtired and fed up, you know, being poor, fed up of the house, fed up of like dreaming, and she'd say, I'm sick and tired of dreaming and I can't imagine how it's gonna work and I don't know when. Poor Ma. Then she'd, go out somewhere, find a brick, let it fly out a window, and then she'd laugh and the police would come. They'd bring her to jail, to the hospital, and where they kept the crazies. And there my Ma would take a long bath. She'd sleep. She wouldn't answer the questions. She wouldn't take their pills, but she'd sleep. And then she'd wake up better. And she'd say, okay, I'm cured. Get me a bus ticket home. My dad would always bail her out. What a hell of an old girl she was.
I had my old dream again last night. The sun was out and she was shining bright in the sky. And the sky was so beautiful. It was as if she were all my insides. And there were impatiences that laughed into blossoms. And I told them, quiet, be quiet. My son is dead. And he beat me with his cross. And then all my daughters wept, and I told them, quiet, be quiet. And they looked at me with spiteful eyes. And then suddenly I wanted to hide from the sun. I couldn't find an egg anywhere to hide in. And I said, well, for a change, you have to find an egg. A red egg. Has anyone seen a red egg? Not a bird in the sky.
Madeline? Madeline! Listen, Madeline, I've left home, just the way you see me. Left. And I'm not even upset. Not as much as I thought. I left a week ago. I rented a tourist room on St. Louis Square. I've walked and walked and walked and thought and slept. The first day, was like I'd always been alone in the world. Just nothing. Just walking, nothing in my head. I felt like a can of tomato soup. Just a small red spot, that's all.
Took all my reds away from me and made red the color of shame.
I wonder how I managed to stay with him for so long. 8 years. That's a long time. I think I know what eternity's like. It makes me shiver looking back. To think what could have happened to me in that house. There were things I thought were normal, but now they make no goddamn sense. Before we got married, when I went out with him, do you know what he'd tell me? He'd say, if you run out on me, I'll kill you. And me, what a turkey, I'd say, if you leave me, I'll kill myself. I was always the one getting killed, coming or going. His mother said to me once after a big fight, you see, Marie, a mother's always a coward when it comes to her own child. She'll forgive anything at all. But you don't have to be a coward. That day, it was like she gave me permission to leave him. As if I still needed her permission. But now I'm only thinking about the kids. I'm worried sick. Seems I've fallen out of one trap and into another.
Men created me to get the share of God that they had coming to them. For my own part, I played along with their little game. Irresponsible in my guilt. The anguish, too much anguish at bringing a child into the light and at the same time into darkness. I gave him life. They said his death was my fault too. But what happened to all the laps between life and death? Oh, get this damn statue. Get me out of here, let me free myself.
Hey, Marie, since I've known you, I've been thinking. You've put ideas in my head. I understand you. I'm tempted to throw all my customers out the door. Open up a little business, a little dry goods store. I love fine cloth, silk, cotton, velvet. Hey, maybe we can open it up together? I've come to hate their sex like a cookie dipper hates chocolate. When I can put a name on what I lack, I'll know what I need. And I've got some ideas trotting in my head, Marie. Usually it's after my second glass of scotch, that my balloons bust, I guess. That's when I can see through my fiction like a flash of lightning. And the truth is there. Man after man comes into my bed. Not one of them is sensual. Sensual man doesn't go to a whore. No. The ones that come here, they come for the share of the devil they got coming to them. They're looking for a she-devil. They're looking for something I'm not. Crazy, huh? What I really am is a cop. Yeah, there's the mother cop, the statue cop, and there's the hooker cop. All of us women together, all of us women, we're all cops. We are the guardians of the moral order of their society. What a hell of a job. As a rule, after my 5th glass of scotch, I start to cry. Then I have another and I go to sleep. The next morning, I wake up and I start searching. It seems that just before I went to sleep, just for a minute, I had a revelation, clear as day. What was it that I had seen, that vanished just before I could catch it, like an important dream that slips away? What was it I knew just for a second, then rejected? I have a feeling tonight I can touch my secret. I have a feeling it's at my fingertips, like a strong wind, a much needed wind in June that blows the blossoms off the tree, Marie. Marie, 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 I know what I don't want anymore. I don't want any more of this goddamn life I lead. I don't want to be in the skin of a hooker, that pulled pit, the skin of a dog. Tonight, Marie, I'm closing up shop. Hold on to your hat, Marie. I am back in my shoes again. Tonight, I'm a single girl.
Talked about nothing but my fragile side, and so I spend my life in trembling. And like this Proverbs, silence is golden. So the silent majority would submit in silence. You wanted me to shut my mouth forever so that I could listen to him for an eternity. Wanted from me a sphinx face, a Buddha's smile, a virgin's eyes. Wanted from me a Mona Lisa. Kept the poker face for himself.
Taught me with his secondhand card dealer smile. Said that beneath my velvet eye hid a cunt with teeth full of corpses.
I've bled through all my silences. I've abolished my crack. My walls I've crowded in. I unplugged myself from the void.
Woof. Are you there?
Do you hear me?
Ready or not, you must be caught. Going, gone.
I think I'll go for a little walk. I'll go for a stroll. Another kind of walk.
I was looking for somebody just like you tonight. Do you know me, Mademoiselle?
Yeah, I know you, but I want to be alone tonight. I'm in a hurry. Goodbye.
Hey, come on, I thought you were giving me the eye. You're good looking broad. Not as young as you might be, but you're not bad.
Don't you understand English?
You must take pretty pills to be that good looking.
I take the same pills as you, but I can digest them. Now that's enough. Let me get by.
Hey, you know, you're cute when you get mad.
Get away from me. Let me go.
Hey, come on. Don't you know what I'm after?
Don't you understand I want you?
No. You're not going to pull that one on me, fuck. Huh. Let me go.
Hey,
No! No!
This.
No!
Hey, you know, you're cute. You ain't bad, just my type.
Let me go. Let me go, please. Please let me go. My husband's coming. He's going to kill you.
No, he isn't. I know you ain't got a husband. I like it when you put it.
Please.
What's the idea? Virgin Act. Right?
Away. Open your legs, you're gonna see. Spread them out so I can put my cock in there, you tease.
You just wait. I got this don't worry, it's big enough for you, my Bill Callies. Wait, open up.
I want you. Open up. And I want a mouthful of milk, by the way. 1 large half pint. You wouldn't refuse a drink to a thirsty man, would you?
You're gonna like it. You're made for it. Goddamn cunt. Fucking whore. Come, goddamn you.
When the rising moon opens like a fan, I'll be imprisoned behind my window. I just won't come out at night on La Rue Marianne. From the mountain to Parc La Fontaine. Too afraid now, afraid of the dark.
There was a trial. There was a judge. There was attorneys. And one accused.
He was a plumber. He was a notary.
He was a professor. He was a musician.
He was a psychiatrist. He was a sociologist. He was a traveling salesman. He was a reporter. He was a gynecologist. He said he knew the plaintiff personally and that he had examined her in his practice 2 or 3 times, that each time she had made specific advances to him.
Certain criminologists wonder if, in fact, in this case, the accused were not the real victim.
The court called upon its shadow moral squad, medical this and medical that.
Hundreds of women came from everywhere, giving moral support to the plaintiff.
I'm a single girl. I live alone. Before I was proud, but now I'm just scared. My God, I'd like to know why on La Rue Marianne, that guy had to go and hurt me so bad. I was alone. He could have talked to me.
There were the powers that be. Question, to tease, to watch, to spy, to search and feel and persecute, raise their eyebrows, wink and grimace.
The powers that both desire and stigmatized at the same time.
And it doesn't bother them a bit.
Raping a whore isn't rape.
Temptation always comes from the woman.
She must have led him on.
Eve, do you know what you are? You are the roadway to hell.
Snow White is a nympho.
Raping a whore isn't rape.
I'm a single girl. I live alone. For I was proud, now I'm just scared. My God, I'd like to know why. La Rue Marianne, that guy had to go and hurt me so bad. I was alone. He could have talked to me.
He went through the whole masquerade, all the humiliation, all the misery of a woman dispossessed.
The judge felt he was impartial. The lawyers too. Not one of them felt involved, even though the fact of rape was admitted. Not one of them saw it as rape. Not one of them saw the image of his mother, his daughter, his wife. The patrimony remained intact. Only when the woman personified the patrimony could she be raped.
Then there was the defense lawyer. He wanted to know, how could they suspect a man who knew women as well as a gynecologist?
The question that caused the greatest internal emotion, that caused the accused himself to be forgotten. The critical question came to be the following. Did the plaintiff have an orgasm?
Suddenly, there were the powers that be who were not opposed to pleasure. Suddenly, there was the might of the power who wanted to mount on pleasure's back. Suddenly, the orgasm was permitted. There was an alliance of medicine and court, affirming the right to give a whore an orgasm.
Anywhere at all, any old time, any old way. A cock makes her come. Everybody knows that.
I'm easygoing, my heart is open. Ain't no sacred vessel, should've known that. Where do they lose all the tenderness? On La Rue Marianne, my innocence lost, fall into terror, fear in my mirror.
Then there was the trial's end. The rapist was acquitted. It was like the end of a long summer. In the transcript, men of law, proud of themselves, exchanged congratulations. In the court, everyone stood up at once.
It was like a flock of starlings rising from a field of corn. Had they had enough? Madeline, the plaintiff prostitute, raised one strident cry in the boiling sunlight.
Ah.
But in the distant air, the goldenrod had already bloomed. And it was like the last day of all our summers.
There were the women who left the court, their throats choked with sobs. There were women who laughed at the fate of the violated plaintiff. There were women who cried, softly, openly. There were women who held cries of violence between clenched teeth. There was a woman who wanted to know, rape, is it part of the pathology of sex or the pathology of power? No one could answer. All replies awaited the right moment. There was a woman as if she'd never been raped.
How did they learn to terrify like that? How did they learn to beat and rape? All tenderness lost on La Rue Marianne, alone with my fear hammering at my heart. For I have been raped.
I won't take it anymore. Nothing. Like what? No part of that sarcophagus. It will not be worshipped in a statue and then despised and insulted in every woman. Jesus Christ on the cross, what are you doing up there? Let go, serpent. Get away from my heel. We've seen enough of you. We've learned all your tricks. Tricks of old bachelors, race of old single men. Sick old apocalypse. Sick from your old fear. You spread the words that I was a matriarchal torturer. Be on your way. Take over the earth. I'll crush you no more. Crawl off. The earth is good. When I was child, I played barefoot in the mud. Now know this old sphinx of sin. All your old schizoid plans have been sneezed away. And nothing will be as it ever was before. Imagine that. Imagine.
Imagine.
Just imagine.
Now the shindig starts.
Just
Imagine. Just let's imagine.
There is no beaten path for women who have never seen anything.
Waves and breakers of foaming follies ripple on our skins.
Take my hand, I'm a stranger in paradise.
What's the old dream? Everyone's dream. Wanting to be for at least one person the most important person in the world?
I don't know. I don't know what love is. I don't know what dignity is, but I know all about contempt.
Before I spoke to you, I chatted with the trees, the clouds, the moon, my plants, and my pussy. And now I come prepared. Open your ears.
Because from now on, you're not going to tell me how or in what style beaten women, desperate women, shut-in women, or women prostitutes are to blow the system.
You're not going to tell me how arteries are to harden. You're not going to tell me how grandmothers go white. You're not going to tell me how sensuality is impoverished.
You will no longer tell me how my body should feel its pleasure. You will no longer count me piece by piece. You will no longer dictate any of my duties.
Never again will you tell me how youth cools and freezes. Never again will you tell me how the lilac blooms. You'll never tell me how the rose grows red. You'll never tell me how the rivers rust.
You'll tell me no more.
You'll tell me no more.
Never more will you give me the rhythm or the tune.
And keep your advice. And think things over.
Open your ears and weigh your words.
I'll be waiting for you somewhere, in a place where hearts carve their name in the living bark along with the birch trees.
I stand in the midst of the path that oozes joy. I am the spreading river.
I call upon you, loitering knights, with your vows of masculinity. I invite you to abandon your hysterical virility. Deserters wanted. Idol breakers wanted.
If not, who'll accept me as a woman apart from women?
I call upon myself for all the days the victims past.
Because since the world's beginning,
There has only been one thou shalt not.
One thou shalt not.
we're lovers.
For lovers.
Lovers.
And here I stand before myself, ready to love you. I belong to all the days, all seven, and because of it, here I stand alive, renewed, ready to break old iniquities. I will never again be in any part of you that means exile from myself. For the child's flesh excites me and inflames my thighs and breasts. Pornographize me no longer when you tremble at your own birth.
I will never be in any part of you that means exile from myself. Here I stand, laughing inside.
Imagine!
La chair de l'enfant m'érotise et me flambe seins et cuisses d'où me voici debout devant toi. Ne me pornographie plus quand tu trembles devant ta propre naissance.
Here we stand before ourselves renewed. Imagine.
Imagine,
Imagine.
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 Blackbird singing in the dead of night. You take these broken wings and learn to fly. All your life, you were only waiting for this moment to rise.
All right, thank you very much. So that was The Fairies Are Thirsty. And we're now going to excuse the actresses for a few minutes so they can go and have a bit of a break and recover before the Q&A. So in the meantime, I'd like to welcome Kieran Hunt to join me. I hope you all enjoy the show very much. I understand that there were some technical issues with the Facebook feed at the beginning. I'm really sorry about that. I hope that it all worked out okay for everybody and wasn't too stressful.
Mm-hmm.
You were all able to watch successfully. Hello, Kieran.
Hi, Sandra. I'm well. I'm well. I'm glad that the technical difficulties didn't persist. That the show seemed to go well. It's almost bizarre to see something that you've created in your own home, in your evenings, in your own room, on a tablet with other people, to see it be broadcast and really come together.
And so this is the big premiere of this new format, basically, that you and the cast have explored over the last couple months. How do you?
Yes, exactly. It's been quite the experience, if just judging from when you first had that first rehearsal, thinking it might just be temporary, that Zoom is just a limit, a temporary limit that you'll work through and you'll get back on track. And when it doesn't happen, then you have to start looking at, well, what was our problems just trying to communicate in Zoom early on? Are these things that are going to happen the entire time? And in a lot of cases, they are.
I'm going to go to our questions because we've been getting a lot of really good ones coming in from everybody. So thank you to our audience. So I'm going to start, and we can try and field the first one together.
Hello, Camila.
Back. Hello, Camila. Congratulations again.
The wonderful Camila Fitzgibbon as the statue, everybody.
So the first question we have is, do you think the portrayal of purity and service is accurate in the play, or a misunderstanding of those Christian ideals?
I was going to say hello to Sandra, but if you could repeat the question, I just was greeting Sandra, Madeline.
So the first question we have is, do you think the portrayal of purity and service is accurate in the play? Or is it a misunderstanding of those Christian ideals?
Oh, absolutely. I think there has to be a little bit of both. The idea that it is corrupted or used to a degree to bring people down is what the play argues, I feel. But I mean, then we come into an idea or an argument of, is this servitude a natural occurrence? Is it forced upon? Is it happening in relations elsewise? But if we'd like to bring it to the actresses, I think they might have something well to say on it.
What do you ladies think?
Yeah, I think for sure what this play tries to do, it really is to break the stereotypes of these women, right, of these characters that have been put in boxes. And so I don't think it's necessary to have both, as Kieran said, because we're trying to break that duplicity and that sort of black and white way of looking at women. And so I wouldn't say necessarily it's incorrect. It's something these are complex characters. These are complex women that have, I think we can all see a little bit of ourselves in each of them. So that's my answer.
Yeah, well, I didn't quite understand the question. That's why I didn't really jump on it. But I think what the person was asking is that, like you said, to ride off a little bit what you said, we all have those different archetypal energies in us. It's not black or white. And I think each archetypal energy has a shadow side and a light side. And it's the balance between that. It's hard to find the balance, because sometimes it's the dark energy that takes over And, hopefully with this play, we've been able to bring the light out at the end, because, every character is trying to get out of this darkness. I don't know if that answers it.
I'm joined also by Peter Geiser, who's the artistic director. I don't know if there's something you would like to say in response to that question particularly.
I mean, the piece is really challenging us to look at what did people really experience in Quebec back then, and it's not what should life have been like, it's what was life like? What did people go through? And I think one thing this play has taught me is that a lot of what people went through, we think we're over it, but we're not, at least not completely. These issues persist about people being pigeonholed into little boxes that don't let them be who they are.
I think our next question is particularly for Sandra. Pierre or Justin? I think this is a reference to a scene where you're giving the long list of people that you've made love with, and Mr. Trudeau comes up at one point.
Yeah.
So is it Pierre or Justin, Sandra?
Oh, wow. I think I'm like zoned out. It's actually Pierre. Yeah, it's the father. I want to pronounce
That's a long reign.
It's not the current. That wouldn't be right. Wrong.
That's the joy of the play, being like referential both to the 70s and now. Somehow it just works.
This actually dovetails really nicely into our next question, which is that the script still feels actual. How was it for you guys to adapt it to the reality of 2020?
Actually pretty easy, I'd say, because it's still very actual in a way. Like, sexual violence is still a thing, domestic abuse is still a thing, women being pigeonholed is still a thing, and so nothing has really changed, which is a little sad. At the same, like, it's kind of bittersweet a little bit, because it's the fact that it's still relevant after all those years is very intense to think about, right? Because it should have changed more than that. I find, I've known this play for a while, and like I absolutely love this play. I think it's brilliant, and I think it's still very, very relevant to today's world, and that makes me sad a little bit to think about that, unfortunately. Yeah.
We have someone who would love any tips you discovered for directing something like this the way you did on phones versus laptops. Let's see, do different devices offer different issues? Are there sound delays? How do you deal with sound levels? Like, you're all obviously broadcasting from totally different devices, from different environments, there are different acoustics. Was there an adjustment process, and how did you handle that?
I mean, there's like that scene where we're all like, everybody says you're crazy, hysterical. We would have liked to do it differently, where we're kind of just like overlapping each other, but because of the I guess the sound delays, it sounded kind of weird. So we had to really kind of scream. I don't know what it came out as, like, when you're watching, if it was clear, but that was one of the scenes that we had an issue with the sound. And also when you're coming in, to a scene, you really have to make sure that you're throwing that line out there crisp and loud, because the sound often makes it so that you miss the first like syllable or word. So yeah, those are all things we had to consider for sure.
The play itself has a number of songs in it, a lot of repetition, a lot of unison, a lot of chorus work between all the three actors. And that is something you kind of have to give up, at least in Zoom. Perhaps in another format or another broadcast technology, you might have that ability. But that was something you had to give up. But a lot of it just came from being creative in your own space. It came from what works, what worked before, what can we build upon, and how can we make the best possible scene with these cameras in such a small, intimate space. Yeah.
I also have a question about what it was like for each of you to practice art within your own environment. And then a related question about how do you each decide on the locations you use within your own house and the trajectory of the set changes? So a lot of you were really moving around from room to room, right? Two of you were moving around from room to room. Camila, you were in place, but you were making use of a very varied set. So how did that come about? How did you guys explore that and come to those decisions?
I mean, to go back to the first part of the question, like what it's like to be performing in your own home, it's actually really funny because I share a space, right? I don't live alone. I live with my husband and we have a cat. And like you said, like I move around my house a lot. So my poor husband had to be locked up in the bathroom tonight. I want to say thank you, my love, because very
show's done now.
Into my own art. Like he set up a chair and he had his computer in the bathroom with the door locked. So that's one of the challenges, you know, because there's no escape. There's nowhere else he can be. So that's part of the fun, I guess. And when it comes to like, you know, finding the location, I think it was trial and error. Like we tried a bunch of different things and realized, oh, this looks good, or oh, we don't see you that well. And like we tried a bunch of different things and then we kept what worked and didn't keep what didn't work. I guess it's the same thing as stage work, right?
Mm-hmm.
In a way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And for those of you who know me, probably noticed that my daughter isn't here. So she went on a little weekend trip to my mom's because she was actually part of all the rehearsals. Because I was rehearsing with her, so she'd show up. So it was actually, she added a lot, you know, of spontaneity and gave me some ideas actually, because I had to, you know, I had to integrate her in the process. And what I find interesting about, you know, using your home is that you can really get creative, and it's kind of like in your hands. Obviously we had, you know, Kieran to hold us accountable, but, you know, I was trying things till really the last minute. I was just always trying things. So it's like there's a lot of creative freedom, which is a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so for myself, everything that I do is in my bedroom. So like literally my room has been like this for like a month. So it's just, I've got my bed there and this is my room. So it's been interesting because I don't really take it down, but I take it down to wash it sometimes. But it's interesting to like wake up in the morning and there's my set. I've kind of sort of used it as a canvas in a way where I'll wake up in the morning and I'll kind of look at it and I'll see like what's missing. And it's really interesting. It's a really unique way of creating, I think, and I'm really happy with how, well, yeah, with the creative part and being able to work on the aesthetic, because we did all of our own sets and costumes and props and stuff. So it's that's something that I really will cherish, I think. Yeah.
So I have a question here about this format. How do you think the new format changes or adds to the overall message of the script?
Well, I think it undeniably would change it in a lot of ways. Just like in the matter of how I originally envisioned it as more of a period piece, or a piece that was more harkening back to the Quebec that it would spoke of. The fact that we're speaking through cameras and our own selves, it changes costume design, it changes prop design, it changes set design, it changes character design. And in a lot of those ways, it changes it from being a place and time to anywhere at all in this kind of digital format, in that digital space. And that's the strength of Zoom, is that we're in a non-physical space and we build the context together.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, acting wise, it's also, you know, like we're not in the same, we're separated physically from our scene partners. So like to stay connected to your scene partner is a really cool, fun, and stressful challenge. You know, like there are things that you can do on stage with a scene partner and like that you can't do on Zoom, right? Because you're not physically together. So it keeps you really, really connected. And also all these women are kind of alone in their own world. So I think Zoom actually works really well for this play. Really, really well. Because they're all trapped. And that's what we all are right now. We're all trapped. So I think it works really well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, someone actually was just asking how is being quarantined now relevant to the containers these women were in. And I think, I mean, from what I can see of how the three of you developed this play, it seems to fit so well. It's actually, I was very pleasantly surprised, you know, how well this script adapts to the way that you put it together in this format.
Totally.
I mean, the play benefits as well from being non-traditionally written and not set scenes. So putting it on stage or putting it on Zoom, the play lends itself to a fair amount of abstraction, which makes a benefit than rather than a set place and time.
Mhm. Well, I think that's all the questions we have. I'm just checking to make sure. Oh, somebody is asking how wants to know how Camila keeps her cat from interrupting. Did you send your cat away for a weekend trip as well?
No, he's the way to do it is I have to let him in so that he can sort of get like the mysticism out of his head, right? So I let him play during the day, and then by the night he's tired, so he just sleeps in the other room. So he's like he knows the space well. But honestly, I built the set for my cat. I'm just gonna leave it up for my cat now.
Good. Much appreciated.
He's a very obedient cat. He's good.
That's amazing. Well, I think that's all the questions we have. Are there any closing remarks? Anything that any of you would like to say about this particular performance or the play in general?
Was just thank you guys people who were there and watched this thing, because it was like a really like big challenge for all of us, and we worked really hard, and it's really fun to finally share it with people, with, you know, even though we don't see you guys, like I could sort of feel your energy out there in the world, and it was really nice. So thank you all for attending, really.
Yeah. I'd like to say hi to all my friends and family watching. So weird talking to no one. It's like, who are we talking to?
Hi, Mom.
Oh God.
Okay, thank you all very much, everyone, and I think you're all entitled to a good night's rest after this. And we have another performance tomorrow, so if you enjoyed the show, like we were saying, tell your friends and family. If you would like to support what we do, please go donate on our GoFundMe page, and this will fund, like I was saying, hopefully a future stage production of the show and other initiatives that we're hoping to mount during the summer and fall. So thank you very much.
Remember to like, comment, and subscribe.
Yes, and do comment and subscribe.